Be Attentive, Series 16. Volume 33, December 10th, 1933. See, therefore, the beginning of the life of Adam was an act, with his whole being full of love toward God. What a sublime lesson! How the beginning of love would run in the whole operation of the creature. The first lesson that he received from our Supreme Being in exchange for his I love you was that while we tenderly loved him, responding to his I love you, we gave him the first lesson on our divine will. And while we instructed him, we communicated to him its life and the infused science of what our divine Fiat means. And every time he said, I love you to us, our love prepared for him other, more beautiful lessons about our volition. He remained enraptured, and we delighted ourselves in conversing with him, and we made perennial rivers of love and of joys flow over him, such that the human life became enclosed by us in love and in our will. Therefore, my daughter, there is no greater sorrow for us than seeing our love as broken in the creature, and our will obstructed, suffocated, without its operating life, and as subordinate to the human volition. So be attentive, and in all things have love and my divine will for beginning. Volume 33, February 24th, 1934. Our Supreme Being loved man, and seeing him without the head, made us suffer, and was the greatest of dishonors to our creative work. Nor could we tolerate a torment so great in him whom we loved so much. This is why our divine will dominated us, and our love conquered us, and making me descend from heaven to earth, constituted me the head of man, and reunited all the scattered members under my head. And the members acquired the regimen, the order, the union, and the nobility of the head. In fact, my incarnation, everything that I did and suffered, and my death itself, was nothing other than the way that I made in order to seek these scattered members, and by virtue of my divine head, to make flow the life, the heat, and the resurrection of the dead members, in order to form of all the human generations one single body under my divine head. How much it cost me! But my love made me overcome everything, face all the sufferings, and triumph over everything. Now, my daughter, do you see, therefore, what it means not to do my will? To lose the head, to separate themselves from my body, and as detached members, with difficulty and gropingly to walk down here as so many monsters, such as to cause pity. All the good of the creature is centralized in my divine will, and forms our glory, and that of the human generations. This is the reason for our delirium, our pledge, and we want to conquer by way of love and unheard of sacrifices, so that the creature live of our will. So be attentive, and content your Jesus. Volume 33, March 11th, 1934. One act alone does not form life, but continuous and repeated acts form life. Then in my will everything is present, as in the act of doing everything that was done by us, and the creature in it enters into the power of our present acts, and she does what we do. She remains invested by our creative strength, by our love that always rises. She understands that it is really for her that he does everything. And oh, how she loves and wants to do everything for her Creator. On the other hand, outside of our Fiat, what we have done are seen as past things, done for everyone, but not for her alone. So love does not awake in her. It sleeps. It remains as in lethargy, and they think of it as a love far away, not in act. Therefore there is such difference between the one who lives in my will and one who lives outside of it, that there is no comparison that holds up. Therefore be attentive, and thank me for the great good that I have made you, of letting you know what it means to live in my volition. Volume 33, May 20th, 1934. It is my divine Fiat that gives life, motion, and everything. It is the motive of all creation. And therefore I love so much that what it does and it can do, all its divine history, be known in order to be able to lavish with new gifts and display in love with more abundance toward creatures, that in order to do this, I have wanted the sacrifice of your life, sacrifice that I have not asked of anyone, sacrifice that has cost you so much. Although you calculate this sacrifice when the obstacles, circumstances arose, yet I calculate all the days. I measure the intensity, the hardness, and the loss of daily life to which you submitted yourself. Good daughter, this sacrifice of yours was necessary for my will, in order to make itself known. In order to give its knowledges, it wanted to make use of you as a channel in order to make itself known, and your sacrifice as powerful weapon in order to let itself conquer, in order to unveil itself, to open its bosom of light and manifest who it is. Even more because the creature, by doing his human will, rejected and lost the life of the divine will. Therefore it was necessary that a creature would submit herself to the sacrifice of losing her life, losing the mastery of herself, in order that my volition would move itself to make itself known, so as to restore its divine life. It is always so in our operating. When we want to superabound even more toward the creature, we ask the sacrifice of one creature as pretext, and then we make known the good that we want to do, and the good is given according to the knowledges that they acquire. Therefore be attentive, and do not want to occupy yourself with useless thoughts of the reason for your state. It was necessary for our will, and that is enough, and you should be content and thank it. Volume 33, July 24th, 1934. Now all the truths about our will have not all gone forth yet, and those that remain wait with anxiety to come forth from within our divinity, in order to complete their office and be bearers and transformers of the good that they possess. And when all the truths that we have disposed to come forth have been manifested, altogether these noble queens will give us the assault to our divine being, and as invincible army, with our own divine weapons, they will conquer us, and they will obtain the triumph of the kingdom of the divine will on earth. To resist them will be impossible for us, and by conquering God, they will also conquer the creatures. This is the reason my speaking still continues, because all the queens have not come forth from our divinity in order to complete their office. And since the speaking about my will is the continuation of the creation of the Fiat that created the universe, And as then the creation of the universe was preparation to the creation of man, so today my speaking about my fiat is nothing other than the continuation of creation in order to prepare the sumptuousness, the decency, for my kingdom, and for those who will possess it. Therefore be attentive, and do not let anything escape you. Otherwise, you would suffocate an act of my will, and constrain me to repeat my lessons. Volume 33, August 5th, 1934. Therefore, before creating man, we looked at the whole of creation, and in our emphasis of love we exclaimed, "How very beautiful are our works! But we will make man the most beautiful among all. We will concentrate everything in him, in a way that we will find creation outside and inside of him." And as we went molding him, so we enclosed in him the sky of the reason, the sun of the intelligence, the swiftness of the wind in the thought, the extension of space, the strength, the empire in the will, the motion in the soul, in which we enclosed the sea of grace, the celestial air of our love, and all the senses of the body has the most beautiful flowering. O man, how very beautiful you are! But not content with this, we placed in him the great sun of our will, and giving him the great gift of the word, so that he could with deeds and with words be the eloquent narrator of his Creator, he was our image, in which we delighted ourselves in enriching him with our most beautiful qualities. But not content with all this, we were taken by love so exuberant toward him that our immensity entangled him everywhere, wherever, and in every instant. Our all-seeingness looked at him in everything, and even in the fibers of his heart our power sustained him, carrying him everywhere in our paternal arms. Our life, our motion, palpitated in his heartbeat, breathed in his breath, operated in his hands, walked in his feet, and arrived at making themselves footstool even under his feet. Our paternal goodness, in order to keep this dear son of ours secure, placed him in the conditions that he could not separate himself from us, nor we from him. What more could we do and did not do? This is why we love him so much, because he cost us so much. We dispersed from him our love, our power, our will, and we placed in attitude our infinite wisdom. And we did not want anything other than that he would love us, and that in everything he would freely live in our will, and he would recognize how much we have loved him and done for him. These are our loving affectations. Who would cruelly want to deny them to us? But alas, there are unfortunately some who deny them to us, and form the sorrowful notes in our love. Therefore be attentive, and let your flight in our will be continuous. Volume 33, November 18th, 1934. My daughter, how much hidden love creation contains! And since the creature does not elevate herself in our will, she does not come to live in it. Even though she has her reason, she does not understand anything, and we remain without the exchange owed to us by justice. And what does our love do? With invincible patience it waits, and continues its cry that it wants to be loved by the creature. because for her love it would have sacrificed an interminable glory, if he had given reason to the whole creation, for love of the creature. Therefore be attentive to living in our divine volition, so that acting as revealer of our love, it cedes to you the weapons in order to let us love each other with the qualities of our own love. And oh, how content I will be, and you too will be content by it. Volume 33, March 10th, 1935. What is done in my volition belongs to heaven. The earth is not worthy of possessing it. And oh, the security, the happiness that the creature acquires, thinking that her acts are in the power of the divine Fiat, and they find themselves in heaven as her property, not human but divine, that await her, because they want to court her and form her throne of glory. So much is its love, its jealousy, the identification that it feels with these acts done in its volition, that it does not even leave them in the creature, but it holds them with itself as births of its life and births of the creature, in order to be able to enjoy them and to feel the pleasure of being loved, and as an advance that it must give her of glory in the celestial fatherland. These acts done in my volition act as narrators of the story of love that passes between the Creator and the creature, and there is no greater enjoyment than to hear narrated how much I have loved, how my love arrives at the excess, even to abasing myself to want to do together what the creature does. Not only this, but it narrates to me her love, that she has received my act in hers. Therefore a reciprocal love forms between the one and the other that makes each other happy. Oh, how beautiful it is to see that while she is still passing through the exile, her acts are in heaven as my conquests that I have made in the human will, and each one taking its office. Some love me as I know how to love, some adore me with divine adorations, and some form for me celestial music, in order to extol me, praise me, and thank me for the great portent of the operation of my will. Therefore be attentive, and do not let anything escape you in which you do not call mine, so that what you do remains animated by my divine will. Volume 33, March 19th, 1935. With indelible characters, the human will possesses everything that it does and that it wants to do. And if the memory forgets, yet the will loses nothing. It contains the deposit of all of her acts. Without that, it could lose anything. Therefore one can say, all of man is in the will. If this is holy, even the most indifferent things are holy for him. If then it is bad, perhaps even the good changes for him into perverse act. So, if you truly want my divine will as life, not too much is needed. Even more because united to yours, there is mine that wants it. There is a power that can do everything. And as for you, one will see with deeds if in all things you will behave as possessor of a divine will. Therefore be attentive, my daughter, and let your flight always be continuous in the supreme Fiat. Volume 33, April 12th, 1935. Life is the manifestation of the will that she possesses. It is the garment that covers her. It is the sound of her voice. She is the narrator of its marvels, of its infinity, of its power. Therefore my divine will does not content itself with letting the creature live in it. the nothing in the all? No, no. Only then is it content when it closes the all in the nothing, and forms its operating and dominating life there, and makes of the nothing what it wants. This is the reason why I speak to you about my will. It is your Jesus who speaks to you, because I am its life, its voice, its representative, the narrator of my fiat that hides in me. So the greatest prodigy is to form my divine life in the nothing of the creature, that only my volition has this virtue, because possessing the creative strength, it can create itself, its life, in the one who wants to receive it. Now, possessing my life, the soul takes part of my sanctity, of my love. And oh, how beautiful it is to hear that the nothing says together with the all, love, glory. And with the dominating strength that she feels, she diffuses herself in the divine acts and dominates together with my will. There is no greater contentment for us than to feel the nothing operating and dominating in our divine being. Therefore be attentive to always live in my will. Volume 33, May 26, 1935. Our will brings you everywhere, and we find ourselves confirmed in you. An exchange of acts and of life occurs, the creature in the creator, and the creator in the creature. She acts as repeater of the divine acts. Greater grace I could not do, nor the creature receive. This confirming in our works reproduces all our goods in her, our sanctity, goodness, love, our attributes become transmitted into her, and we, enraptured, contemplate her, and in our emphasis of love we say, beautiful, holy, perfect is our being in our immensity, light, power, wisdom, love, interminable goodness, but beautiful yet to see this, our immensity of attributes, enclosed in the creature. Oh, how she glorifies us and she loves us. It seems that she tells us, I am little, nor is it given to me to enclose and to contain all your immensity. But what you are, so am I. Your divine will has enclosed you in me, and I love you with your same love. I glorify you with your light. I adore you with your sanctity. I can give you everything because I possess my Creator. What can my divine will not do in the creature when she lets herself be dominated by it? It can do everything. Therefore be attentive if you want everything, and to give everything. You have reached the end of the Be Attentive series, Volume 33. Fiat.